Welcome, Deviant Drivers, to another draft video we're doing, which is immediately following the promotion relegation race. Real quick, we do need your help just to let us know how's the audio coming in for both of us, for me and Bad Rock.
If everyone could just let us know. And hello, good morning, good almost afternoon, fellow deviants. If there are any adjustments to these levels that need to be made, if you could shout them out to us, we'd be happy to do the adjusting. But what a race, huh? That was real, man. That was a nail biter. It was a lot going on there.
Yeah. So if you didn't get to catch it, it will be on the YouTube channel. But Berman basically had it in the bag. I mean, from the get-go. I mean, he pulled ahead, and it was his race the whole way. I think he was in the lead the whole way, and he was on pole the whole time. So,
It's really
boy,
showing
what
what
he can do when he's not in an
I was gonna say he's
Audi.
really showing what Team Audi drivers can do when they're not in Audis. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Very close between Dirksey and Preston until the first pit. And particularly that lap five, thrilling lap five. Where Dirksey took Preston and Preston tried to take him back into turn one, and there was a whole lot of nail biting, just a little bit of contact, maybe nothing too bad, but that was thrilling stuff, man. That was really good.
At the very end, Preston's tires were just trash. I mean, there was just nothing he could do. I mean, that last lap, he was totally on a dead front left tire. I mean,
He's got pace, but it happens to all of us sometimes. You put the wrong tire on, or you forget to change the tire after qualifying. Sometimes that's definitely a mistake that I've made, and it's sad, but it was a good race, really thrilling to watch. Hey, I think that today this is probably a great time to announce that we do have a presenting sponsor today. Here for the league, we have finally obtained a sponsorship that everyone might be interested in. We're sponsored today by Skyline Chili. Probably the best chili spaghetti. I don't know what do you call that? Is there a name for it?
I don't know. Our resident expert on this stuff isn't with us today, so I don't know. It's I don't know what, a three-way or a four-way, and
It's not.
whatever.
No, yeah. I'll tell you what I call it. Disgusting. It sounds gross. But thank you to
And I'm a
Skyline
chili
Chili.
fan.
Yeah, no, I love chili. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, they're really probably pretty happy that they sponsored us today. Now that we've I took shots at their main product. So, whoops.
Whoops. So yeah. So yeah, we had the promotion relegation race. So the finishing order, of course, was Berman, Dirksey, Preston. So so yeah, they're getting all the drivers ready for the draft picks. So we're gonna just kind of chit chat about the season. How are you feeling about not having to drive the Audi anymore?
Oh, I would say excited is probably an understatement. Yeah, it's I gotta say, there are a lot of self-doubt issues that were creeping in for me at the end of the season about pace and am I really even going to be any better if you get me a better car? And I wonder if Berman was affected in the same way, but certainly just knowing that, hey, okay, heads above water, and here we go. You shake off the old stuff, you get ready for the next season, and hopefully I'll go back to being a reliable midfield performer. And if not, we'll know why, because we've got some really fast people joining Group 3 now with Cam, absolutely just a smoke show these days. And then after, Berman holding his place there, I'm quite sure that he's, going to remain a threat to me. And then, it's a fast group, and it's really hard to to continue to claw and struggle to stay in.
Well, and the car list has dropped, which was in the Discord, and so that's going to come into play here a lot, because what is open for the season for the draft list, or for the car list, which the captains that are going to be picking here shortly will be able to choose what order in their picking order that they're going to take the car. But what's out there is some pretty tough stuff. There's the Corvette, which is fast but horrible on gas. You got the Ferrari, which the Ferrari is tough. You've got the Viper, which, that thing's just squirrely. The Lamborghini hasn't been picked in many, many seasons due to its difficulty in handling, which is very kind of similar to the Audi, I think. So car pick will be very important for these guys.
Yeah, typically here is a place where I tag out and say, I'm not really good at evaluating cars, and I'm happy to just adapt to the choice of the captain, who I typically find is going to be the faster driver than me anyway, and I'd rather that they choose a car that's going to really enable them. But after my experience with Team Audi this season, I've got to say that there's going to be a little bit more of an active selection process for me because I don't think that I would have caught that ahead of time anyway, but at least now I'm like, okay, let's make sure that, tires, for example, don't get chewed up 2 laps faster on one of these cars than another. But as that manufacturer list dwindles, you're right that that sort of is going to bring new dynamics into play. I think we're going to see a lot less common and familiar cars on track. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure will. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So out of the car list, which one do you lean to? Or are you going to keep that close to the vest?
Oh, I mean, since I know very little about anything, I'm happy to share my opinions because if there's one thing I have, it's opinions. Looking at this list, I don't know what the C7 drives like, but driving the C8 in the one-on-one race with Preston the other day, I did enjoy that. So I would be interested in seeing what a more proper racing car version of a Corvette might drive like. Um, Ferrari. I almost wore a Ferrari shirt today instead of this BMW shirt, so I kind of wish that I had. I feel like that would have maybe put a thumb on a scale. And I don't know why the Genesis jumps out at me, but it just does. I'm just kind of curious. Maybe it's because I like Sega. Who knows? What about you?
Well, I've driven the Corvette before, and it's like I say, it's fast, it's great, but it just guzzles gas. You just really have to manage the fuel, which was not one of my strong suits, obviously, this season. I got breaking news that is just out, and that is that Nismo has been downgraded to reserve. He will not be driving this
Oh wow.
season, which means that Zen is going to move to the captain's role. In addition to that, all three drivers, Berman, Dirksey, and Preston, who competed today in the promotion relegation race, will all advance to GT3. So that is some huge news out there right now.
Devastating news about Nismo, but I am sure that there is one Preston who's quite thrilled to hear about that. You know that he was, very hungry for that, and really, deserves the spot as well. So that's going to change the complexion of my season considerably because now I actually have to worry about two things: scoring points for a team, and then also remaining ahead of Preston for the sake of my pride.
Yeah. Yeah, that changes the game up completely. And it's kind of last minute for these captains who the other ones that well, it's last minute for everybody because Zen doesn't maybe wasn't prepared to do this. He's going to be guessing shooting from the hip and the other captains had maybe picks set up based on other things and now the dynamic has changed. So everybody's getting a curveball at the last second and is going to have to adapt.
I mean, let's just play those things out. We've got now Zen is off the table to be picked because he's a captain. You've got
Right.
Preston. Very suddenly, Preston is on the table to be picked as a captain, or as a Group 3 member. Let's see, we've got Nismo who is not going to be making picks and not available. He's a fast driver, so sorry to hear about that. Glad he remains under contract to the league though. We will see him again. Um,
Yes. Yep.
and then Berman, of course, is just always a threat. So I mean, it's a very fast group, and really interesting to see how this stuff plays out. But if there's one person who can think on their feet and make good strategy decisions off the top of their head, it's Zen, and we all know it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just had like for fun a picking order and
Yeah,
everything already done.
He was already gaming it out with Floody during the muted portions of the promotion relegation race. I'm sure.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So last season we wrapped up at Red Bull, which was our longest season ever. I guess I'll drink Gatorade.
It felt a little long to me, I've got to say.
So not this next upcoming season will be quite as long, but still 7 races, I believe. So pretty close. Um, and it's going to be some new drivers. Everybody's going to have to get accustomed to new cars again. We know that the beginning race and races of the season, first and second race, typically are difficult for everybody. They're getting settled in the car. Now there's going to be several new drivers that are in both GT3 and GT4 that driving styles to get used to, and maybe some tracks that are not necessarily everybody's favorite, or maybe they are. So next season should start out like this past season did, pretty exciting.
I think Autopolis is going to be a really great, I mean, just a banger race to open up on because, that's a really tight, twisty track. There are some good overtaking opportunities, but they're somewhat limited in the middle of the track. I think it's going to be just really an interesting thing. And then, you introduce Lorraine into that mix, which is something that, of course, always is threatening to us, but never actually is a threat that gets carried through, right? So, really going to be exciting this season to get into some of the bad weather and see how that shakes things up a little bit, where it's not just about who has the raw pace, but maybe who also can sort of deal with changing conditions.
Yeah, and everybody kind of talked about that was a big thing is everybody really wanted rain, and it's almost like we're going to get that in this next season. I think everybody might maybe not like their decision so much.
Careful what you wish for kind of situation. Yeah, I think it may be. It may be. Uh,
So,
so on
yeah,
on the on the schedule though, what looking ahead, what is your like most anticipated race for the season?
you know, I kind of like Autopolis. It's not too bad. Um, you know, we haven't driven it in quite some time. So, that's gonna be fun. Rain, I don't know, and then the 12 hours at Mount Panorama,
Yeah,
that one's gonna be a fun track. It's always a big challenge. And again, if you don't pick the right car, the coming down that downhill section can just get away from you at times.
Trial Mountain, the qualifying track for the last season, and I think that it really caught out a lot of drivers. It actually, as part of the process, made me fall in love with that track for whatever reason. It never clicked for me until that day, but I really liked it. Looking ahead for my part, really excited about that race, the Mount Panorama race, and also St. Croix B is, I think, another one of these, underused tracks for us. I think it'll be really exciting to get some of these lesser used things and see how people drive.
Yeah, St. Croix is not one that I can remember us driving in at least several seasons. It might have been at least three, even. It's been quite some time. Not a lot of people's favorite, to be
No,
fair.
yeah, and you can understand why too. It's a bit of a weird track, but I kind of liked it. There was some ridiculous time trial and a ridiculous car around there some while ago, and it captured my heart. So, good stuff.
Well, I've got word they have everybody present, all captains accounted for, everybody is there. So all the prep work is done, and they've been notified as well of the breaking news. So they're now probably in a mass hysteria trying to figure out what to do. But we are good over here, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and just start reporting as they start coming in. They're going to start their timer.
Well, so taking a look at the actual spreadsheet here, you can see. I guess we should move uh, Nismo down to reserve.
Yeah, he's going to be a reserve driver. That's going to kick Zen up, and all three, Berman, Dirksey, and Preston, um, will move up to GT3.
So I'm looking to see if any of them are in there, and I guess they're not. They're all three, I guess, just in the promo relegation race. So we're going to go here is Preston.
Our first pick looks like Zen's already coming out the hole with Cam.
Oh, expected that he would go early, and indeed he does.
Yeah,
Here is a hot upcoming young talent in the league, I've got to say. Uh,
yeah.
Team Zen selects Camzilla.
And Camzilla finished the last couple races one-handed with the shoulder injury, but he's gonna have use of both arms this season, so uh, he's
Here's a
gonna be
guy who can
twice
literally
as
beat you with one
fast, I
hand behind his
guess.
back, right? Like, or at least in front of him, somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, he'll be twice as fast this season. So we're all in for an interesting time.
Well,
So Texas Speed is on the clock.
we will see how he goes. Texas Speed Stars, a previous captain of mine, a very good racer, a very good captain. Uh, did really well last season as well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It'll be interesting to see what he gets. But Zen and Camzilla is going to be a threat. Like I'm already going to say that's going to be a team that needs some special attention. Interesting to
Well,
see that he goes with a Group 3 driver, not a Group 4 with the high points, though.
exactly. That we saw that strategy play out with Junkai last season, where his first pick was a GT4 driver. So interesting to see. And Zen comes out with almost no thought either. Like he found out, just now that he's going to be a captain, and doesn't even need his 2 minutes. He
Nope,
just
just in. He just
boom.
immediately is in. Yeah, ready to go. But you gotta love the confidence, and that is something that that's a product of the experience, right? And the looking at things from all these different angles. I got into a strategy talk with Zen not long ago, and basically the setup was that I don't know very much about strategy, and I think I collect good data. And we talked about how he's collecting data, and it seems like I was collecting good data, and then just not doing anything good with it. Whereas Zen just seems to have a real knack for looking past the numbers and translating into workable strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, really fine, getting that final number down to the second, fuel amounts down to the 1 or 2%,
Oh yeah.
percentile. I mean, very, very, very close stuff. Very good calculation. So, yeah, this season's starting out already with the first pick, Camzilla, and we're still just waiting on Texas Speed. I guess he's trying to process all this information.
Yeah, right. So then we can take Camzilla over here off of the board and put him over there. So there's Team Zen
And
next up TX Speed Stars. Let's see let's game this out. If you are Tex, who are you picking? What do you think? What's on the table here?
I think you go for a GT4 driver. I think what you do is you go for huge jar. That's going to be, based upon last yeah, and there it is. Texas Speed picks huge jar. So he is following that strategy. He's taking huge jar, who is, because of the relegate promotion race today, has basically the de facto number one GT4 driver for the
Oh
for
wait,
the
Texas
league.
Stars. That's
So
not right. He said, I'm sorry, it's huge jars, right? Huge
huge jars,
jar,
yeah.
huge jar. Texas huge jar doesn't make any sense, but I'm leaving it, guys, because I have nothing else yet. So going over to the spreadsheet, we've got Mr. Jar. For my part, I've got to say, I think I would be going for a car choice, but if not, it would be a Group 4 driver for the reasons that you outlined. But I think that the car selection, it's just going to be so dicey. I would really want to be able to be out in front of any kind of problem vehicle. I'm sure that that opinion is probably also informed by my experience this past season, but we'll see how it goes.
Exactly. I mean, it's yeah, the car is going to be way more important this season than last season. And so, but it's hard because you really want those points. So, to get that good GT4 driver to help you out, and Chaotica fires with he picks Sully. So,
All right.
Chaotica comes right out. He's picking Sully. He's picking a GT4 driver. Um,
So Chaotic, I believe is how it's pronounced, picking Sully. Great choice.
Yeah. Gattaca takes Sully, a GT4 driver. Sully finished eighth in last season's GT4 manufacturer.
Surprised that nobody has leapt on the car yet. Not so surprised that we're seeing a lot of these Group 4 drivers go first. I do think that that's the money play for the points. If you're looking
It
for that
is.
constructors.
It is. And, so I don't know who's going to pick the first car, but, you know, I'm sure somebody's going to deviate from the plan. Besso's up next to pick. He's on the clock now. So, Besso picks Glovis. So,
Ooh.
Besso going with a GT3 driver. Glovis, who came out of GT4 and moved into GT3 last season, finished 10th with 47 points, goes to Team Besso. So another good racer.
Besso puts hands on Glovis. So in the YouTube chat today in the other race is the first time that I knew that S Besso, that the S is Samir, and knowing that he's a big rally car, of course, now I will never be able to not say Samir, you're breaking the car when I see him start driving off road. So apologies in advance, Besso, for me breaking out that joke probably a couple of times, at least a couple of times. Also, shout out to I don't have my glasses on. I can't see who said that I had put Jar in Group 3 instead of Group 4. Appreciate that. I did fix that.
Um, Floody takes his pick. He takes a car, so he's going to take car pick first car pick.
And there is the pick that I would have expected everybody. I really have been waiting for that to be somebody's selection. Kind of suspected it would happen before now.
Yep, yep. And so Boost is up next. Boost is on the clock with 2 minutes. I don't know. He see if he's got this ready to go or if he's got to think about it because um, some good drivers already off the table, as well as first car pick now off the table. So tough
Hmm.
for these captains when with the way you wanted to go maybe isn't the way you can go anymore.
Well, let's take a minute to talk about Boost since he's on the clock. Now, here's another guy who just kind of seems to have made leaps and bounds aheadways in this past season. I'm not saying that I do not remember him being fast before, but I sure don't remember him being this fast.
Right, right. And Boost picks. He came back. He Boost pick made his pick. He takes car selection second. So he's following Floody's picks, and that's going to put our season champion Junkai up for next pick. But yes, Boost had an excellent. He wrapped up the season with a win at Grand Valley, and in second place at Dragon Trail and Red Bull. So
He's going to be interesting to see what Junkai does here too, but I suspect we might see another car pick out of him. He's a guy who knows he's going to bring home points for himself, and it's going to be about the machinery to do that work, I think.
yeah, and he always has a surprise for us. It's every time he picks something, you don't know where he's going. Um, so yeah, we'll wait and see what he's gonna take. He's taking his time. He's on the clock 2 minutes, and he's not firing very fast. So he's thinking.
Well, it does feel like maybe it's another great opportunity right now to thank our presenting sponsor, Skyline Chili. Thank you, Skyline Chili, for sponsoring us. You're doing great work. You're doing
Skyline.
putting
If
all
anybody from Skyline's watching, they're like, "Who the hell are these two?"
putting all of the chili in all of the spaghetti that everybody wants. I guess somewhere someone must want it because I've heard of your company. But thank you very much for sponsoring us, Skyline Chili.
You have a massive fan on the team. Just know that. So somebody really loves your product, and
It's
advertises it to everybody.
it's just
So,
not bad rock. All right. I mean, but I would make a YouTube video about me eating it or something if you wanted to, yeah, whatever.
Junkai makes his pick. He takes me. So we are going to be back on a team again, as we were with Team BMW 2 seasons ago. Hopefully, a bit more successful than then. But awesome.
Yeah, just fixing the Chiron there. Didn't have anything negative to say about you guys. So Merc, how does it feel to be drafted? Maybe we can get the NFL, phone call take. How does it feel?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. I've known Junkai for a long time. We've been on teams together. So he's a great captain. Look forward to it. No idea what kind of car we're gonna drive.
See, I was just waiting for you to
Um,
pull out a ball cap and put it on with whatever the manufacturer you guys are gonna pick is.
yeah, yeah, no, we're teamless right now. So uh we're gonna have to really think about which one we take because this car pick is gonna be extremely important this season. So um that was the first round of picks. So that takes us down to back to Zen to make his second round pick. And I would almost assume that it's gonna be a car. It almost
It
has to be.
seems like the obvious choice here, right? But it's also one of those things where nothing is as obvious as it could be this season. It feels like there's a lot more in play than there has been.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's been surprising so far. And I guess Zen's taking his time to think right now about what his pick is going to be because he is definitely not firing as fast this time as he did when he came out the hole with Cam.
So I am looking at this and wondering, I think that the car is the choice, but if it wasn't going to be the car, it's obviously got to be a Group 4 driver because he's already taken Cam for the Group 3. And I mean, you got Hyphy sitting right there. You got Thrasher sitting right there. These are fast guys. I think they're fast guys. I mean, really a lot of fast guys. And some of these newcomers too to Group Three, Arcane and T Deeds and Rutaz, all putting up some pretty fast times.
Interesting you mentioned Hyphy. That is where he goes. He picks Hyphy Honda.
All
So
right.
so Honda goes to Team Zen. So Zen is building out his roster. He's going for the strategy of whatever guys will make the car work.
Well, I
It
think
would
it's
appear.
maybe if you build it, they will come situation. They trust that maybe there's maybe he's got more insight into those cars already than other people do, and has decided that there isn't quite uh the bad one. I've got to get around that car. Maybe he feels confident that he can work with the entire roster.
It's possible, and like I said, he comes well prepared for everything with a strategy. So it would not surprise me for him to have been already doing some car testing, and have his idea of which one he wants and this type of thing. So obviously, he studied some of these drivers, watched a lot of the races because he knows who he's picking, even though he didn't even know he was going to be a captain.
Right. And again, I think that you got, when you have that kind of a brain, it's operating on that level all the time, right? This is a guy who sees the lines of the matrix code when he's looking around, whether he's trying to be the one or not. So,
Exactly.
gonna be really interesting to see what the dream team here comes together.
Exactly. Exactly. And Texas Speed is on the clock, so um, we're waiting for his pick.
Now,
So
does Tech still race in VR exclusively? Because I believe that that was the case last season. I'm not sure, but the lack of information that you get out of that headset, it's stunning to me that he can perform at the level that he does.
yeah, I seem to remember. I feel like he mentioned that he had tried it, and but it was like because of that lack of information, which is so crucial, especially GT3, GT4 with the parameters set, that it's just not quite worth it.
No.
It's too bad they don't fix that.
Well, add it to the list of things that PD probably could do a little bit better, but it's probably a different broadcast than this one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's right.
I think
So
we could just shout out their development though, because I think Sony and PD develop things at least as well as Skyline Chili. That's right, Skyline
there
Chili,
you go.
innovating in the chili universe. Maybe you saw spaghetti and thought this needs more chili. Well, Skyline's here for you, buddy.
Skyline's here for you. Yeah. So Texas, he takes as his second pick is going to be Thrasher. So Thrasher, a strong driver. Thrasher was especially at the end of last season, really competing there. Moved up, to the lead several times. We thought maybe he was going to get that first win. Uh, Strong driver for GT4.
Absolutely. So Group 4, this is Mr. Speedstars, has rounded out his Group 4 selections as well. And between Jar and Thrasher, he's probably going to be seeing quite a few points out of those guys.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I mean, that's his GT4 roster is strong. So yeah.
Hey, I mean, that leaves an opening on the team for an underperforming Group 3 driver, and I happen to know one. So,
And Thrasher was on your team last year,
oh,
wasn't
that's
he?
true, yeah.
Yeah, team Audi. So I think his Audi was a little
maybe
bit
maybe we keep us apart then. Like maybe that's not maybe it's not maybe we don't need to get that band back together yet.
too soon, too soon.
Right? I just am lining up and it's just hello darkness, my old friend all the time. Maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe
maybe
not.
not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you get a better car this time,
Could be.
you know?
It could be. So Besso is up next, right? Or no,
Besso is up
Chaotica.
next.
Chaotica,
No,
right?
Chaotica.
Chaotica.
Chaotica is up next. Um, he's on the clock and waiting his pick. So interesting to see. He picked Sully in the first round. So is he going to go for a car? Because there's been several driver picks since we had several car picks. So is there going to be a car pick?
I think what you're seeing
Okay.
here is like this is why some people are captains that are not me because this is not what I would do and they probably know better than me. So like I can't claim to understand fully what's going on, but I am excited by the developments because it suggests to me anyway that the car list might not be that bad.
It may not be. I mean, when you look at it on a list, you kind of say. Well, these are the cars that have gone through 2 or 3 seasons now and not been picked. So they're nobody's favorites. And but maybe they're not so bad if these captains have tested some of them and tried them out and maybe have experience with them that, you know,
They
know them a
may
little bit
they
better.
may also just have a lot of faith in their fellow drivers, right? And just hey, I know that these are all fast guys that come to grips with things quickly, and we're just going to make it work out.
And that's a good strategy too, you know. I mean, if you've got good drivers, you know, they can work through those issues and do good with a car that may not be the strongest. So Chaotica makes a pick and moves with Saito. So Saito, another Group 4 driver. Group 4 drivers being picked a lot. You know, building out that Group 4, that team for with Group 4.
I think
And
this.
Besso fires
Yeah.
right back. I mean, Besso's not even thinking he's got a car. So he's going with the third car pick.
And I'm sorry. Chaotica got who now?
Saito.
Thank you.
Yep. So Saito is on
So
Team
and
Chaotic.
then
Besso takes a
Besso
car.
car.
So he is third for the car selection order, which moves us to Floody. So Floody is on the clock. He's already picked his car, so it's going to be a driver. It's just a question of whether he's going to pick GT3 or GT4. What do you suspect he will go?
Well, if it's me, I'm going group four, I would think. Again, I think that there's still points on the board there, and a lot of the folks that are in group three, I'm not saying that we're the slower group three guys, but you are going to get to drop your slowest driver's points, right? Only the three of the four count. So if it's me, I'm going to try and put my thumb on a scale for the group four guys where I think there is a little bit more point availability on the table.
Exactly. And with GT4 right now, as it stands for who's left, Anatole is the highest driver based upon last season's points. And we are wrong. Floody goes and picks Bad Rock.
Oh,
Floody is building out his GT3 team.
how
So,
about that?
Team Floody, congratulations there. You you're gonna have to Bad Rock, you're gonna have to get your drinking game stronger.
I don't I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I suspect that it'll sort of maybe happen as a side effect.
What does a pre-race with Team Floody look like? Is it like it's like a 9 Inch Nails after party?
I don't know, but I have the weirdest erection right now. Uh, oh goodness. Wow, flooding. Oh, and so hang on, was that his third round pick or second round pick?
That was
That was
his
his
second
second
round
round
pick.
pick. Okay, well,
Yep.
I predicted that he'd take me third, that emotions would overrule logic. I'm going to say second, emotions have overruled logic. I would have gone with Group 4 driver, but maybe I hopefully got something to learn from Floody because he is real fast.
He is. He is. He is. He comes right out of Group 4 into Group 3, and now a captain this season. So, just Captain Morgan it the whole way. Boost has picked his made his second round pick with Anatole. So they were teammates last year with my team, Team AMG. So those guys are going to be together on a team once again.
Well, and as you started to say before Floody made his pick for me, Anatole, here's another driver who is just faster and faster all the time, right? Just constant improvement, development. He's going to be bringing home solid points for that team.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another one that studies, as I'm well aware, he studies strategies. He knows the car, does a lot of practice. That's going to leave us with Junkai's second pick, which will wrap up round two. And which direction he's going to go. Is he going to go for a car on this one? So
I've been wrong about every single thing I've predicted. So he's gonna announce that UFOs are now in play for all I know.
yeah. Yeah. So, or are we going to pick up another driver? I mean, you got our two drivers, Dirksey and Preston, out there that have not been picked yet. Two solid drivers, which he's already got his GT3 team built out. So he's going to have to go either GT4 or car. I suspect probably, I would suspect he's going to go for a car and go ahead and get that fourth car pick. I don't know how valuable fourth pick is, but
Better than seventh, I suspect.
better than seventh. So
One thing that it will be interesting to see too for me is some of these newcomers to the league as well. We've been talking about all the improvement that we've seen in other folks over the course of the seasons, but we don't know who's going to find like this unpolished gem. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, it turns out that this guy's solid gold and no one has seen it yet because he's only been racing a couple of races or something like that. It's going to be very exciting to see how that develops over the course. As these guys settle into their teams, into the cars, and into the league, and get going with it.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the next Preston? Who's gonna be the next Floody? Who's gonna be the next guy to really step it up into the faster split and ultimately probably get me demoted?
And Junkai does just that, not get you promoted or demoted, but he picks Deeds, which is one of our new drivers. Yeah, we have several that Arcane raced in. I think the last race was his first one, and Rutaz and Deeds are two new drivers. And Junkai puts Team Deeds or Deeds on Team Junkai. Um, so it looks like Junkai is going to prioritize the car as the last thing,
And more
which is
importantly, I finally found a headline joke there. Like, I'm joking. I've been trying to make them clever, and sometimes it's just really hard to figure up some kind of wordplay on the spot, and they're not all gold. It's gotta be said. But Deeds, joined us on Fun Night on Friday. It was a lot of fun to share the track with, and I suspect is going to be someone who has a lot of pace.
yeah, yeah. So building out, and Zen comes with his pick. So leading us off on round three, Zen takes a car. So he will be fourth pick. Fourth pick will be car for Zen. So
I want to do a
next,
Zen announcer voice, but I know that it's not going to be as good as his. But a brand new car, that kind of thing. He's got that whole he just nails like that kind of announcer voice that he's got when he does it. It's very tongue in cheek and hilarious. I love it. Guy's
it
got
is.
voices.
He does, absolutely does. It's fun, it's entertaining. Some days on radio comms before the race.
Well, and
And-
I would take a moment there too to just shout out again. Floody and Zen did such a great job commentating that race. Really, such a nice addition to some of these little one-off streams. And while we're doing the sort of filler stuff, let's just shout out this one-on-one competition that we've had going on as like an off-season split because I think that that's a thing that started up as just a sort of gag and maybe people or whatever. And instead, I get the weirdest feeling that everybody in the league is like doubled down on the entire league just as a result of like that weird pointsless bracket. What a great idea that was.
yeah, Deviant Madness, I think is what we should call it. Tex takes his pick, and he takes a car. So that is fifth picking order for cars. So not many cars left out there. But yes, absolutely. Chaotica takes a car. So okay, it is by default. By default, Junkai is taking car last. So it's pretty safe to say where when it comes around to him where he's going to go. I don't think he's going to go for car. So
It would seem not. Chaotica, and then we've got Junkai.
and as you mentioned, yes, we're doing the bracket racing, which is similar, kind of like a March Madness style type 1-on-1, 1v1 type thing. And so anybody out there viewing, you can catch these. We're trying to televise all of them on the Discord. So make sure if you can catch them, they're going to be on schedule. If you're in the Discord, it'll pop up in the calendar with once that's scheduled with those drivers. So
Feels like we should probably take that opportunity to try and drive engagement for the algorithm. If you guys could all click the like button or the subscribe button, that makes Skynet like us better. And eventually, when the Terminators take over, they will spare our racing league. So make sure that you do that, or else the consequences, could be kind of dire for us.
yeah, no more racing, no more bracketing,
Mm-mm.
and no more seasons. So Besso picks next. He takes Devin. So Devin was the next highest driver in GT4. That was there. And
Devin, I'm sorry I misspelled your name, Devin. And
Devin was my teammate last year on Team AMG. Up and coming driver. So um
that was Tex. No,
Floody
Floody. Sorry.
yeah, next is Floody. Floody picks Arcane. So another new driver, GT4. He did manage, I think it was one race last season. He came in at the very end of the season. So
Was
strong.
was pretty eager to tag in to participate, which was great. You know, came in at kind of the
Yeah,
last minute to sub in for a race, if I remember right. And you know, you love to see the passion and the intensity in these new guys.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Did I miss somebody here? So sorry, Besso took Devon, right?
Yep.
And then is it Floody's pick now, or did Floody take Arcane?
Bloody took Arcane.
Thanks, I just
So
pasted him in the wrong spot. That's all.
next up, next pick is going to be Boos. Boos will be picking. Safe to say he's going to pick a driver. There's really no advantage to picking seventh pick car. So, question is he going to go GT3 or is he going to go GT4? Because I believe he's still got one of each position to fill.
Paste. How do I paste these damn formats? I'm so bad at this sometimes. My my spreadsheet foo, not very great. I'm not even sharing that screen, so I don't know why I'm trying to make excuses.
And the crazy thing is, of the GT3 drivers left to be picked, they are all the drivers from today's promotion race: Berman, Dirksey, and Preston.
Right, which you're gonna assume are gonna be bringing home some points. Like
Exactly.
they came to play. I think it has been a sort of surprising selection process for me. I've got to say, I think that these guys must be seeing angles that I don't see, but it's pretty easy to believe that that might be the case because they usually do.
And Boost picks Dirksey over today's champion Berman. He takes Dirksey, so he's really wanting to try that chili too.
Where is
We
this?
know what their pre-race arrangements are going to be. It's going to be eat some chili and over spaghetti or having a four-way or
I'm
what.
not, I feel like eating chili before the race, before an hour-long race, might be asking for some discomfort in one way or another before the end of that race. Um, so sorry, that was Boost taking Dirksey, you
Boost
said,
takes
right? Who
Dirksey.
I just for some
Yep,
reason don't
Dirksey.
have in my list. I don't know why. Dirksey.
So
Problem
that's
solved.
gonna leave the next pick up to Junkai, which is on the clock. And again, we know he's going to take a driver. We know he's going to take a GT4 driver. I would have to guess that he's going to take either Lalo or Kuroskai, uh, who are the next highest on the. Oh, he comes out and picks Silo.
Are you
So
guys making a
he's
hometown
taking.
boys team? Is that what's happening here?
We're rebuilding Team South Carolina. It would seem like so we're getting a band. We're getting that band back together.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now there's one strategy that I am starting to understand, and it's Junkai's. Oh man. So let's see. Junkai selects boo, 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 hometown boy. I don't know. like
Silo.
I don't know.
Yes. So that's gonna be Junkai's team. It's going to be myself, Junkai, and Silo, and we're gonna have last pick of the car. So
Well, here we are coming back around then to the final round of selections here. We got Zen leading it off, uh, and we know he's going to take a Group 4 guy. I think again, Lalo Keys or Chris guy would seem to be the top picks, but I think Golden Oracle gets slept on a little bit.
that's yeah, I agree. I think yeah, going any of those drivers, Lalo, Kuroskai, or Golden, and kind of the Rutaz is still there. He's kind of the unknown, right? I mean,
Right.
and so he's kind of still sitting out there, but it's kind of unknown whether or not that's going to be a pick or if he's going to go that direction. So he's on the and he takes Lalo. He makes his pick, so he is going Lalo as a Group 4 driver for his team. So next up is going to be Texas. So Tex firing fast. He takes Berman. So there it is, GT3 driver, another one off the list. Today's winner of the race, who took out the trash with the competition.
And
Uh,
there's another puzzlingly late selection. Zanshin is a guy who, outside of the team Audi performances, is always on the top of the time trial list. He's always like in the points very solidly. So pretty surprising to see that he was such a late pick. He's a very reliable points bringer in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it makes your team a hefty team, you know. I mean, so Chaotica next to pick is takes Preston. So there goes. So where those guys were last, like towards the end of the group three picks, they went super fast when they started to go. So
There we go. There's a better joke for Preston. He deserves it. Chaotica impressed by Preston.
so
Uh,
after Chaotica is going to
Mr.
be
Besso.
Besso. Besso is obviously going to be taking all the GT3 drivers are accounted for. So now it's GT4 drivers to round out these teams. So I believe we're going to see Golden or Kurisky as his pick.
As a known quantity, it makes sense. These are guys that how they're going to be able to perform. And while I think it's likely that you're going to see strong performances out of Deeds and Rutaz as well, I do think that there's that level of you go with what you know instead of maybe the unknown.
Exactly. And apparently that's Besso's pick is Rutaz. So
Cool.
he's taking the gamble just exactly what you just said. He knows something that we don't know, which is
Also
also
possible.
possible.
Yeah.
After Besso is going to be Floody. So Floody's final pick is going to be a Group 4 driver. So it's going to be either Kurisky or Golden, and he takes Kurisky. So Boost will be taking Golden. Golden will be going to Team Boost. And of course, Team South Carolina back again is going to be taking seventh pick, last pick of cars. So
So there's two drivers left though.
I
So
believe that took care of the roster there.
I'm sorry. Boost took who?
Boost. Oh well, Boost is automatically going to get Golden because he he already picked a car.
Well,
So
there's
by default,
did Deeds get picked?
yes. Deeds went to my
Oh,
team
okay.
Junkai.
There we go. Thank you. So let me get that spreadsheet back up so we can take a look at that. So here is our final team selection. So let's take a look. Let's see what we think. We got Team 1 Zen, Camzilla, Hyphy Honda, and Lalo. Looking pretty strong in that Group 3 category, and I gotta say, Hyphy obviously very fast in Group 4 as well. Lalo, I'm a little less familiar with the performance, but that's looking like a pretty strong team, especially with a fourth car selection. So they're not gonna get just all the final leavings. You got strong strategy coming out of Zen there. We know that Cam is an absolutely strong performer in this past season. He's probably only going to be faster with another arm. So I gotta say that's looking like a team to beat, but we can't sleep on any of these other teams. So looking at Tex and Zanshin again, you're going to see Zanshin unleashed from that Audi. I think we're going to see some new points there. He's going to be a real threat. Tex always fast, just always up front. And then again in Group 4, you got Huge Jar and Thrasher going to be bringing home the points there. I think in that team, it's like really who is the driver that is going to be not bringing home the points, right? So you got a great composition there. What do you think?
Exactly.
What do you think going forward? What about Chaotica's team?
Chaotica's team. So Chaotica, he's got his first pick was Sully, which is solid pick, and then second he's got Saito. So again, solid drivers. I've lost the feed for
Oh,
the actual bracket that you
and also,
got.
I have Preston listed as a Group 4 driver here, but it was Sully Group 4. Did I get that backwards?
Sully, yes, Sully is Sully. Yeah, I believe he's Group 4.
Okay, I just got that backwards. That's all.
That's all right.
All right. Yeah, Preston again there, I think, going to be making a splash in Group 3. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I have a personal stake in just trying to stay in front of him, but I think he's going to have my work cut out for me on that one. I don't think that one-on-one race was really indicative of true. I think I benefited from being able to pick the track on that one, so it'll be interesting to see, how he and I hang this season.
Absolutely.
Team Besso, Glevis, Devin, and Rutaz. It's again, Besso and Glevis. That's a dream team. That's gonna be tough.
It is. It is. So all the teams now it's going to be focused on get to know your drivers and get to know what car is going to be your desired one. I don't know, we're picking last, so I'm not sure, we'll just kind of take what's still out there, but for some of those top pick drivers, certainly you'll want to do your testing and try to nail down what car is going to be preferable.
Well, coming down to the next team, Team Floody, which I'm a part of, it's funny you mentioned the car thing because with Floody having the first pick of the car, and as I said earlier, I'm always a little bit lackadaisical about it. Oh, I'll just adapt to what somebody else wants. So this time around, I'll be driving the crap out of all those cars because we have the first pick, and I want to be able to have an opinion. But the question is, will will it matter? Will I be able to make anything, do anything to make a worth Floody's pick here? Arcane and Kurska, I think are going to be bringing home points. So hopefully we can do something there. But Floody, fast guy. I'm going to be looking forward to him destroying my liver this season. Uh, then Team Six, you got Boos, Dirksey, Anatole, and Golden Oracle. What do you think there?
Well, again, another strong team. You got well, you said Boost, right? That's who you asked. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, Boost. Yeah, so you got the two teammates that are recurring, Anatole and Boost, and so they're familiar with each other. Again, Anatole is very analytical. That's maybe that's where his name comes from. So, and so he does a lot of investigating on the car and studying with it, and so that's super helpful for the team. Those guys know how they operate. That's going to be a huge advantage going into it.
Well, now it comes down to your team. You, Junkai, Silo, and Mr. Deeds.
Absolutely, yeah. That's our like I say, we're not the car thing isn't going to really be our concern. It's going to be really just kind of get to know each other. You know, try to develop an early strategy, and then once we get the car, then we can take off with that and practice with it and see how good or bad it is. Like you said, it might surprise us.
The only reason that I'm not as intimidated by this team composition as I think I should be is because you're selecting a car seventh. Like that is something that could, I mean, it was a factor for us for Team Audi for sure. And it wasn't actually a big factor because it turns out we had selected the Audi anyway, and it was just still available in the end. But it's going to be very interesting to see if you guys have a team full of talent that can't do anything with the car that you have, or if you're going to prove that really it's all behind the wheel. Like it doesn't really matter what you're driving. A true driver's fast in anything.
I think it's a combination of both. You can get a car that is so difficult to drive that there's just not so much you can do to it. If it's disadvantaged, it's disadvantaged. So, but certainly a good driver can make the best out of what would be maybe a bad situation. But again, Audi not you guys you guys had a rough season with it. That car is it's a tough drive. So is there another Audi like car in the mix? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I think we will. But I think that probably brings us to about the end of the broadcast. I think before we go, there is, of course, one more thing that we need to mention, and it's one final shout out to our presenting sponsor, Skyline Chili. If you ever want to have nasty chili spaghetti, but made by a fast food restaurant, check out Skyline Chili.
Yeah, it's not trash chili, I mean, it's good stuff, I've been told it's not really chili, it's not really tomato sauce. It's like whatever, you can get it three-way, four-way, it kind of sounds like an X-rated film, but whatever. Who am I to say?
I
Um,
grew up, with a little bit less money sometimes, and I think that a lot of people have this experience, right, where you have these meals or casseroles or something that your mom makes that you think is like a normal thing, and then you get older and you figure out like, no, that's like poor people food is what it is. Um,
exactly.
Skyline chili feels like somebody's mom used to take chili and dump it on spaghetti and be like, "It's spaghetti surprise," and here we are. But enough.
So next the manufacturer pick is going to be on next Sunday at 11. Captains will be doing that pick, and so get with your captains for each of your allocated teams. If you have input onto those cars, start your testing, give them your advice. Captains are going to certainly be open to it because, again, some of these cars could be pretty difficult. So um, where they're gonna pick is going to be interesting. So
Yeah,
everybody's got their work cut out for them for 1 week.
it's gonna be an exciting season. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't give a couple shout outs here and thank yous to Zen and Floody for doing the commentary on those races. Really added a lot to it. Thanks for the effort, guys. Everybody in the races today, great races, great effort to watch, and of course, Merc, you and Junkai, thank you very much for starting this whole grand shebang and involving us all in it.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody that's on the teams and in the league for your continued dedication. It's amazing that we're at this point, and it's due to all of your, dedication to this. So thank you to all of you. And I guess there's nothing left to do but to sign off and let everybody hit the tracks. We've got Mazda this afternoon. And then after that, teams are going to probably start powwowing together and getting the plans together.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Been a great draft and looking forward to an upcoming season. Take
Have a
care.
good one, guys.